What separates those who dream from those who achieve? What allows one person to break barriers while another remains stuck in the same cycle? The answer is simple, yet profoundly challenging. Discipline. Discipline is not about punishment, nor is it about denying yourself joy. True discipline is about freedom. The freedom to act on your highest goals instead of being enslaved by impulses, distractions, or temporary emotions. Imagine for a moment two different lives. Descartes. In the first life you wake up every day knowing what to do, but postponing it always tomorrow, always later. Days blur into weeks, weeks into years, and dreams fade into regret. In the second life you wake up with purpose. You don't rely on fleeting motivation. You rely on discipline. You act whether you feel like it or not. Each day builds on the last, and slowly the life you once dreamed of becomes the life you live. Which of these lives will you choose? This audiobook is a roadmap to help you build unbreakable discipline. A discipline that does not waver when you're tired, discouraged or distracted. A discipline that makes you unstoppable. And it all begins with the mindset shift we explore in Chapter 1. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Discipline. Discipline begins not with action, but with identity. Too often people try to change their lives by forcing themselves to act differently, while still seeing themselves as the same person. They say, "I want to exercise," but inside they still see themselves as someone who struggles with fitness. They say, "I want to save money," but deep down they still identify as someone who spends freely. This is why most resolutions fail. Actions that are not rooted in identity cannot survive resistance. 1. Discipline is who you are. The strongest form of discipline comes when your habits are not things you do but things you are. You don't say, "I'm trying to write," you say, "I am a writer." You don't say, "I'm trying to save." You say, "I am disciplined with money." The shift from effort to identity is the beginning of unbreakable discipline. 2. The myth of motivation. Many people wait for motivation to strike before taking action. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is constant. Think of the soldier who trains every morning, not because they feel like it but because it is who they are. Think of the athlete who practices through pain, not because they are motivated but because they are committed. Unbreakable discipline is not about feelings, it is about choices. 3. The power of small commitments. Discipline is not built in one grand moment, it is built in tiny daily choices. Waking up when the alarm rings, saying no to one unnecessary expense, writing one page instead of waiting for inspiration to write a chapter. Each choice is a brick. Over time, those bricks become walls and those walls become fortresses. A fortress of discipline cannot be broken by laziness, procrastination or temptation. 4. The chain of integrity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your integrity. Every time you break one, you weaken it. Discipline grows when you begin to trust yourself. Ask yourself, can you rely on you? If you cannot, discipline will always feel fragile. But when you become the kind of person whose word is law, even to yourself, you unlock unstoppable momentum. 5. The enemy of discipline. Comfort. Modern life makes it easy to be comfortable. Food, entertainment, distraction. Everything is at our fingertips. But comfort is a silent killer. It softens the will, weakens the mind, and dulls ambition. To build unbreakable discipline, you must train yourself to do hard things regularly. Choose discomfort deliberately. Wake up early. Take the cold shower. Work an extra hour. Say no when saying yes would be easier. The more you embrace controlled discomfort, the stronger your discipline becomes. 6. Vision and clarity. Discipline without vision feels like punishment. Discipline with vision feels like purpose. You must know why you are disciplining yourself. What future are you building? What life are you refusing to settle for? When your vision is strong enough, discipline is no longer a burden. It is the path to freedom. Action step. The first commitment. Before moving forward, make one small concrete commitment yourself that you will not break for the next 7 days. It could be waking up at the same time every day, writing 1 page daily, saving a set amount of money. Keep it small but keep it sacred. This is how you begin building the foundation of unbreakable discipline. Discipline is not about controlling the world. It is about controlling yourself. And when you control yourself, you can shape your world. The first step is not about trying harder. It's about becoming the person for whom discipline is natural, unshakable, and inevitable. Chapter 2. Breaking the chains of procrastination. Procrastination is the silent thief of dreams. It disguises itself as rest, rational thinking, or waiting for the right time. Yet underneath, it is fear wearing a mask. You cannot build unbreakable discipline if procrastination still rules your choices. To become unstoppable, you must expose procrastination, confront it and replace it with systems of consistent action. 1. The psychology of procrastination. Most people think procrastination is about laziness. It is not. Procrastination is often the brain's way of avoiding discomfort. That discomfort may come from fear of failure. What if I try and fail? Fear of success. What if I succeed and expectations rise? Perfectionism. I can't start until I know it will be flawless. Overwhelm. I don't know where to begin, so I'll begin nowhere. Your brain protects you by postponing action. But what feels like protection becomes a prison. 2. The cost of delay. Every time you procrastinate, you pay 3 hidden prices. A lost time. The moment is gone forever. Lost momentum. Every delay makes it harder to restart. A lost confidence. Each broken promise to yourself erodes self-trust. Discipline grows weaker when procrastination becomes the habit. The longer you wait, the heavier the weight becomes. Identity shift. I am a finisher. In Chapter 1 we spoke about identity. Here is where identity breaks procrastination. Instead of saying, I struggle with procrastination, begin declaring, I am someone who finishes what I start. This simple shift changes the way your brain frames action. You are no longer fighting to act. You are acting in alignment with who you already are. Write it down. Say it daily. Let it become your self-image. The 5-minute rule. One of the most effective weapons against procrastination is the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself, I will work on this for just 5 minutes. 5 minutes feels manageable. It bypasses the brain's resistance. And once you start, momentum takes over. Often, those 5 minutes stretch into an hour or more. Discipline grows not by waiting for inspiration, but by mastering the art of beginning. 5. The power of environment. Procrastination thrives in environments filled with distraction. Notifications pull your attention away. Easy access to entertainment derails focus. Discipline is strengthened by designing your environment for action. Remove distractions before they tempt you. Create a workspace that signals focus. If you want to write, keep your journal visible. If you want to work out, set your clothes ready the night before. Your environment should make procrastination harder and discipline easier. 6. The 2-minute promise. James Clear once said, "Habits must be established before they can be improved." The 2-minute promise works the same way. Commit to the smallest possible step. Write just 1 sentence. Read 1 page. Do 2 push-ups. Why does this work? Because it shifts the brain from resistance to progress. Once you're in motion, the law of momentum takes over. Small beginnings create unstoppable discipline. Replace deadlines with rituals. Procrastinators often live by deadlines. They wait until the last moment, fueled by panic. But true discipline does not depend on deadlines. It depends on rituals. A deadline is external. It forces you when time runs out. A ritual is internal. It shapes you daily, regardless of pressure. For example, instead of saying, "I'll finish this report by Friday," say, "I write every morning at 7 a.m. Instead of saying, "I'll go to the gym 3 times this week," say, "I train every day at." Rituals transform work into rhythm, and rhythm is the heart of discipline. Fight. Dealing with overwhelm. Sometimes procrastination hides behind overwhelm. You look at a task so large, it paralyzes you. The solution: break it down into micro steps. Instead of write a book, start with write 1 sentence, write 1 paragraph, write 1 page. Instead of get fit, start with put on shoes, walk for 10 minutes, do 1 push-up. When the mountain looks too high, discipline climbs 1 step at a time. Accountability as a weapon. Procrastination thrives in secrecy. If no one knows you delayed, you feel safe. But accountability exposes procrastination to the light. Find someone you respect and share your goals. Tell them what you will do and when. Knowing they will ask creates external pressure that supports your internal discipline. Accountability is not weakness. It is reinforcement. 10. The discipline of now. Perhaps the most powerful mindset against procrastination is this: do it now. Every time your mind says, "I'll do it later," answer with, "No, I do it now. Not tomorrow. Not after you feel ready. Now." The habit of immediate action rewires your brain. You stop negotiating with excuses. You stop giving procrastination oxygen. You become unstoppable. The action steps to break procrastination. Identify your triggers. Write down when and why you procrastinate. Use the 5-minute rule. Start small. Build momentum. Reshape your environment. Remove distractions. Design for focus. Replace deadlines with rituals. Create daily rhythms that eliminate delay. Embrace do it now. Train your mind to act immediately. Sex. Closing insight for Chapter 2. Procrastination whispers. Tomorrow. Discipline replies. Today. When you choose action over delay, you begin to break the chains that hold most people back. Each choice to act now strengthens your discipline, sharpens your confidence, and sets you apart from the majority who keep waiting for a perfect time that never comes. Chapter 3. Consistency and compounding power. Discipline without consistency is sowing seeds and never watering them. You may have the right intention, but without consistent effort, nothing will sprout. What differentiates individuals who achieve extraordinary outcomes from individuals who are merely average is not intelligence or talent, but the unrelenting force of consistency. When you combine discipline with consistency, you unlock the secret of compounding, the skill of taking small actions each day that build into massive change over time. 1. Why consistency beats intensity. Everybody thinks success occurs because of massive epic effort. They go all out for a week and then burn out. Progress doesn't happen from wild bursts of energy. It happens from habits repeated every day. Exercising 15 minutes daily is better than exercising 2 hours monthly. Writing 300 words daily generates a book in 1 year. But waiting for the muse can land you with nothing but a white page. Savings of small amounts regularly build wealth faster than attempting to score big with risky odds. Intensity is a spark. Consistency is the flame that keeps burning. The mathematics of compounding. Albert Einstein once termed compounding as the eighth wonder of the world. Compounding is considered by most in relation to money only, but it takes place in all aspects of life. In fitness, regular morning and evening push-ups develop strength quicker than sporadic gym visits. In skills, consistent 20 minutes of practicing a music instrument compound into mastery. In relationships, small consistent acts of kindness build stronger trust and love. Every step you take on repeat compounds in the background, shaping your identity and your results. 3. Rhythm of daily non-negotiables. Discipline grows strongest when you create daily non-negotiables. Simple things you do regardless of what. They become your anchor even on difficult days. Examples: reading 10 pages every day. Writing 1 paragraph in the morning. Practicing gratitude every night. Saving a certain amount every week. These absolutes must be small enough to complete even amidst chaos, yet large enough to have impact. They soon become second nature, like brushing your teeth. 4. The science of habit loops. Consistency is easier when you understand the habit loop. Cue. The cue that reminds you to do something. Routine. The behavior you perform over and over again. Reward. The payoff your brain receives. Example: cue, waking up. Routine, drink a glass of water. Reward, you're refreshed and alert. By consciously generating cues, you reduce the need for willpower. Your environment now begins to assist you instead of working against you. Systems over goals. Goals tell you what you want. Systems tell you how to make it happen. A goal is write a book. A system is write 300 words every morning before breakfast. A goal is run a marathon. A system is train for 30 minutes every day. Discipline flourishes within systems because they provide structure. Goals encourage you once. Systems keep you going forever. 6. The compound effect of small improvements. Think of getting better by 1% per day. In 1 year, you will be 37 times better. That is the quiet power of compounding. This rule is why small regular habits win over big rare attempts at intensity. Healthy eating once won't do a thing. Healthy eating daily changes your body. Saving once doesn't matter much. Saving regularly creates wealth. Every choice compounds either positively or negatively. Discipline makes your choices work for you. 7. Anchoring habits to existing routines. Habit stacking is one of the easiest ways to make consistency a sure bet. Hanging a new habit off something you're already doing. After brushing teeth, do 1 cent. After coffee preparation, read 1 page. After shoe wearing, take a 10-minute walk. By connecting new habits to old ones, discipline is minimized to friction. You're not fighting your brain, you're in sync with its rhythm. Avoid the all-or-nothing trap. Most people abandon consistency because they fall into the all-or-nothing trap. They miss a single workout, so they abandon the gym. They screw up their diet 1 day, so they overeat for days. Discipline is not being perfect. Discipline is showing up more often than not. Missing a single day doesn't count if you return the following day. Progress is lost, not by creating a single failure, but by failing to keep going. 9. Momentum and the snowball effect. The moment you become consistent, momentum takes over. Momentum makes discipline easy because habit now draws you forward, as opposed to you driving yourself. A writer who writes daily begins to think in sentences all day long. An athlete who trains consistently begins to crave movement. An investor who saves daily begins to see possibility everywhere. The snowball effect performs a magic trick. It turns discipline into desire. You no longer drive yourself. You are drawn by momentum. 10. The role of measurement and tracking. Visibility engenders consistency. When you track your habits, you see progress, and progress begets motivation. Use a journal to track workouts, meals, or work hours. Use a calendar and mark an X for each day that you do the habit. Use tracking apps that monitor time, money, or practice. What gets measured improves. Evidence through tracking shows that your discipline is accumulating. 11. Protecting consistency from disruption. Life will test your discipline. Emergencies, fatigue, travel, or stress can disrupt routines. To stay consistent, create backup plans. If you can't do a full workout, do half. If you can't read for 30 minutes, read for 5 minutes. If you can't save $100 this month, save $10. Consistency is not perfection. It is persistence in the context of imperfection. 12. The long game of discipline. Consistency isn't sexy. It's repetitive, boring, even dull at times, but the long game rewards those who stick with it. What today is small proves irrefutable in years. One page turns into a book. One exercise turns into a fit body. $1 saved turns into wealth. Discipline is the car. Consistency is the driver. Compounding is the engine. All three make you invincible. Chapter 4. Cultivating self-control and resisting temptations. Discipline tends to fail when temptation is present. You decide to get up early, but your bed's warmth dictates otherwise. You promise to save, but the instant gratification of buying something you don't need makes it impossible to say no. You promise to focus on work, but social media quietly steals your focus away. The battle for discipline is not fought in the large goals of life, but in the small, everyday moments when temptation has a louder voice than your higher vision. Self-discipline is the art of aligning your short-term behavior with your long-term values. The nature of temptation. Temptation adores immediacy. It offers immediate pleasure, instant relief, or instant distraction, while discipline calls for patience, perseverance, and long-term thinking. The brain is programmed to grab what feels good in the moment and delay what feels difficult. That's why saying no to temptation is like swimming upstream. It requires awareness, effort, and strategy. If you don't make a conscious decision, you default to what's easy rather than what's meaningful. The tug of war between impulse and intention. Every choice is a tug of war between two forces: impulse, which desires instant gratification; intention, which desires long-term enhancement. Impulse says, eat the cake now, you deserve it. Intention says, stick to your nutrition plan. Your health is more important. Impulse says, skip the study session. Watch one more show. Intention says, this exam can change your destiny. The strongest discipline comes when you are aware of this internal dialogue and you always stand on the side of intention, even when impulse screams louder. Delaying gratification. The heart of self-control. One of the best skills you can learn is to delay gratification. The ability to give up a small reward now for the sake of a larger reward in the future. The old marshmallow test demonstrated this fact. Children were given a marshmallow and told they could eat it right away or wait and receive 2 later. Those who waited performed better years later on measures of academic achievement, health, and emotional stability. Delayed gratification is not denial. It is trading something lesser for something better. Every time you choose discipline, you are making this muscle more powerful. The role of environment in temptation. Self-control is not just a matter of inner strength, it's a matter of designing your environment. Willpower itself is weak, but when you smartly design your environment, you eliminate unnecessary fight. If you wish to eat healthily, don't have junk food at home. If you need to study, leave your phone in another room. If you need to save money, transfer your savings automatically before you even get to see the money. By reducing the exposure to temptation, you conserve energy and make discipline the default choice. 5. The science of willpower. Psychologists have shown that willpower behaves like a battery. It runs out with each small decision drains your mental energy, making it increasingly difficult to resist temptation later in the day. This is also the reason people break down at night. They have already exhausted their willpower reservoirs, choosing all day. The solution, then, is not to rely on willpower alone, but to create systems and habits that require less conscious resistance. 6. The pause between urge and action. One of the most powerful ways of resisting temptation is to learn how to pause. There is a small gap between the impulse to act and the action itself. If you can increase that gap, you're in charge. When you have the urge, pause for 5 seconds. Take a breath. Ask, will this decision take me closer or further away from my goal? Most often the urge loses its power when you pause before you act. The pause clarifies. 7. Substitution instead of suppression. Trying to simply suppress temptation has the tendency to backfire. The more you tell yourself that you are not going to think about something, the more your brain dwells on it. Substitution is a better approach. Instead of scrolling through social media, send an encouraging text to a friend. Instead of grabbing junk food, grab fruit or water. Instead of procrastinating with recreational activities, replace with a small productive task. Substitution transforms the energy of temptation into productivity, without vacuum. 8. Building identity-based discipline. The deepest level of self-control is by defining your identity. Once you don't say I'm trying to quit smoking, and you say I am not a smoker, the battle is different. Once you don't say I'm trying to save money but instead, I am a disciplined investor, then you begin to align behavior with who you believe you are. Temptation loses its hold when it goes against who you are. Self-control is no longer a matter of forcing, but being yourself. 9. The power of pre-commitment. Another useful strategy is pre-commitment, deciding in advance what you will do before the time of temptation arrives. This eliminates the need to negotiate in the moment of heat. If you pre-commit to going to the gym at 6 a.m., you don't wake up and negotiate. If you pre-commit to investing a certain amount each month, you don't argue with yourself when money arrives. If you pre-commit to writing daily, you don't wait for inspiration. By reducing decision points, you create discipline. Accountability as a defense against temptation. If you declare your intentions to the world, you increase your resistance to temptation, because you add an element of accountability. Humans are wired to care about reputation and social proof. A gym partner gets you to the gym even when you lack the desire. A financial advisor gets you to adhere to savings. A mentor gets you to not accept anything less than your standards. Accountability turns personal challenges into public commitments, making temptation harder to justify. Using rewards wisely. Self-discipline does not mean cutting out all enjoyment. In fact, rewarding discipline solidifies it. The key is to ensure rewards do not hamper progress, but complement it. Finish a focused work session. Reward yourself with 10 minutes of music. Survive your workout. Reward yourself with a healthy favorite snack. Stick to your savings plan. Reward yourself with some small non-monetary treat, like free time. The brain links discipline to pleasure, and it becomes more appealing than temptation. Building emotional awareness. Temptation is generally a disguise for deeper emotional needs. You do not consume junk food because you are hungry, but because you are under stress. You do not procrastinate because you are lazy, but because you fear failure. By discovering what emotional needs drive temptation, you can cure the cause instead of the symptom. Meditation, writing, or simply reflection will show you why certain urges are strongest. Cure the emotion, and the temptation loses power. Third, the strength gained from saying no. Every time you resist temptation, you build the discipline muscle. Every no is evidence of your strength. The early struggles are tough, but the more you practice, the more self-control becomes second nature. What was once impossible, getting up early, not blowing money, exercising every day, becomes effortless. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust breeds unstoppable confidence. Chapter 5. Thriving through discomfort and building inner toughness. The path to unbreakable discipline is paved with discomfort. Every time you push yourself beyond what is comfortable, you are one step closer to being unstoppable. Comfort will always feel good in the moment, but it will never build strength. Growth only happens when you voluntarily step into the fire of discomfort and choose to stay there until transformation begins. Discomfort as the gateway to growth. All worthwhile success requires accepting discomfort. Athletes suffer through pain while training to build endurance. Entrepreneurs accept uncertainty and rejection in quest for their vision. Students study late at night when others go out partying. Discipline doesn't shield you from pain. It leads you to embrace it. The ability to deal with frustration, boredom, fear, or pain without giving up is what differentiates the individuals who become excellent from those who become mediocre. Reflect on, when pain shows up, do I step back or do I step forward? 2. Reframing pain as progress. To the majority, pain is punishment, but to the ones who attain discipline, it is an indicator of progress. The soreness after working out is an indicator your muscles are growing. The fatigue after reading is an indicator your mind is growing. The aggravation of practicing a skill is an indicator your talents are expanding. Once you reframe pain as a signal that you are expanding, then discomfort can't threaten you anymore. It is a signal that you are where you are supposed to be. 3. The comfort trap. Modern living is designed for comfort. Food delivery at a click. Entertainment with a tap. Comfort 24/7. As much as this makes life easy, it also destroys mental toughness. When you avoid discomfort at any cost, you lose your capacity to handle life's inevitable challenges. Instead of toughening up against adversity, you break down under it. The comfort trap is seductive, because it feels good in the short term, but it disempowers you down the line. True discipline means breaking out of this trap, and actively choosing difficulties that push you past your breaking point. 4. The role of micro discomforts. You don't need giant wars to build resilience. Small daily doses of pain are enough to reinforce discipline. Take cold showers to train your mind to be calm under stress. Fast for a few hours to train self-control around food. Walk instead of driving short distances to train patience. Speak up in meetings when you're afraid to train courage. These micro discomforts, repeated consistently, rewire your brain to stop associating difficulty with danger. Over time, you stop fearing discomfort and begin craving it. 5. The science of stress adaptation. Your body and mind adapt to stress the same way muscles adapt to weight training. When you lift a heavy weight, the muscles break down somewhat, then rebuild stronger. Similarly, when you expose your mind to controlled stress, it is capable of handling more without breaking. This law, called hormesis, shows that low levels of stress build resilience. Remove all stress, and you become weak. Invite acceptable stress, and you become unstoppable. Discipline is not the removal of discomfort. It's finding out how to use it to your advantage. 6. Mental toughness through exposure. Courage and discipline increase through exposure. The more you are exposed to discomfort, the less intimidating it becomes. The first wake up at 5 a.m. is excruciating. The 10th wake up is habitual. The first public speech has you shaking with fear. The 50th has you feeling like you're in your living room. Exposure habituates your nervous system to the fact that discomfort won't kill you. Far from shying away from it, You now woo it as the gymnasium of discipline, making resistance a routine. Discomfort typically expresses itself in the form of resistance. The small voice in your head that goes, "Not today. It's too hard. Do it tomorrow." The trick is to stop negotiating with that voice and develop habits that work around resistance. When you feel resistant to exercise, put on your shoes and start walking. Momentum will handle the rest. When you feel resistant to writing, commit to typing one sentence. You'll likely keep going. When you don't feel like studying, open the book for 5 minutes. Your focus will follow. Habit eliminates the power of resistance. The more your discipline becomes automatic, the less room resistance has to sabotage you. 8. Emotional discomfort and vulnerability. Not all suffering is physical. Sometimes the hardest discipline is emotional discomfort. Taking responsibility for errors, apologizing, asking for help, or being vulnerable. These moments are weaknesses, but they require enormous courage. By venturing into emotional discomfort, you build integrity, humility, and self-respect. You stop the avoidance of truth and start owning it. That honesty creates a discipline far stronger than willpower alone. Building a discomfort ladder. One effective technique for creating discipline is constructing a discomfort ladder, a range of challenges that incrementally get more difficult, which you commit to facing. For example, Step 1. Speak once in a small group. Step 2. Make a contribution in a large meeting. Step 3. Volunteer to present. Step 4. Deliver a keynote to a huge crowd. By gradually stepping up the ladder, you anesthetize yourself to fear and build discipline through exposure in small steps. The energy hidden in discomfort. What most people don't realize is that discomfort has energy. The same nervousness that makes your palms sweat when you are about to give a speech is the same energy that can fuel confidence if you leverage it. The same nerves you feel before a workout can fuel your strength if you power through. Discipline is the art of converting the raw energy of discomfort into growth fuel. Instead of letting it freeze you, you use it to propel you. 1. The spiritual dimension of discomfort. The spiritual traditions of the past have all emphasized the value of discomfort. Fasting, silence, meditation, solitude. All are spiritual practices aimed at gaining mastery of the self through the renunciation of immediate comfort. Discipline, then, is not just practical. It is deeply spiritual. It demonstrates to you that you are more than your urges, more than your appetites, more than your fear. In thriving through suffering, you discover the strength of your higher self. 1. A discipline based on choice. The power of discipline is that discomfort is no longer something done to you. It's something you do. By choosing to go into discomfort, you no longer fear it. Instead of waiting for trouble to come to you, you create your own. And every time you do, you build inner strength. You no longer avoid challenge. You no longer look for comfort. You begin to see discipline not as deprivation, but as liberation. The freedom to rise above your limitation. Chapter 6. The power of consistency. Turning effort into mastery. No such thing as discipline exists in the form of a grand moment of willpower. It is made by regular repetition of day-by-day choice, long after the initial excitement has faded. Consistency is what it takes to bridge the gap between vision and reality, between fleeting spark of motivation and mastery over the long term. Take away consistency, and all progress collapses. Put consistency in, and change becomes inevitable. Why consistency beats intensity. Most people believe that discipline comes from extreme effort, an extreme diet, a devastating workout, or an exceptional burst of work. Though intensity produces immediate results, it never lasts long enough to transform lives. True discipline is less about intensity and more about consistency. A 30-minute workout done 5 days a week is far more powerful than an intense 3-hour session done once a month. Writing 500 words a day will finish a book, while waiting for inspiration might keep you stuck for years. Consistency multiplies effort. It turns small actions into unstoppable momentum. 2. The compound effect of daily habits. Every action you take repeatedly multiplies throughout time. Like money gaining interest. Reading 10 pages every day doesn't sound revolutionary, but in 1 year's time you will have read 3,650 pages, the equivalent of 12-15 books. Saving a bit every day will not make you wealthy in a month, but it builds liberty in years. Discipline thrives when you know the compounding power of taking small, consistent steps. The results may not be apparent at first, but they accumulate quietly until they become clear and unavoidable. Building habits that anchor discipline. Willpower doesn't build consistency. It is built by habits. A habit reduces decision-making, which means less excuse-making. An early morning routine habituates the day. A work habit ensures productivity even during the low motivation periods. An evening routine helps to promote rest and recovery, charging tomorrow's effort. The goal is not to eliminate spontaneity, but to create structure that keeps you on track when distractions and emotions are likely to derail you. The science of habit formation. Psychologists describe habits as loops. Cue, routine, reward. Discipline is strengthened when you understand how to build these loops. Cue, a reminder that instructs you to do it. Leaving exercise clothes beside your bed. Routine, the act of discipline itself. Exercising for 20 minutes. Reward, the payoff your brain associates with the routine. The pleasure of accomplishment or a smoothie after exercising. By intentionally designing your cues and rewards, you automate discipline. Eventually, the behavior isn't a bother anymore. It just is you. 5. Consistency in the face of boredom. One of the strongest enemies of discipline is boredom. Motivation is a diet of newness, whereas discipline is a diet of repetition. Day in and day out repetition of the same task. Training, writing, saving, practicing, may be dull, but it is this dullness that yields excellence. The world's top performers are not those who find novelty daily, but those who show up work even when it's boring. They become comfortable with tolerating boredom as the price of mastery. 6. The role of accountability to stay consistent. The process becomes more powerful when other people are involved. Accountability doesn't allow it to be so easy to quit. A running partner expects you to show up. A mastermind group tracks your business progress. A coach challenges you beyond your comfort zone. When people witness what you do, consistency becomes a commitment and not just something you want. 7. Tracking progress to encourage motivation. Consistency is invisible. That's why you must monitor your progress. Keeping a record of your workouts, marking days on a calendar, or maintaining daily accomplishments gives you tangible proof of your discipline. Monitoring progress accomplishes 2 things. It reminds you to stay honest when you're attempting to quit. It motivates you when you notice how much progress you've made. What's measured gets managed, and what's managed gets mastered. 8. The discipline of showing up. Half of success is just showing up. You don't have to be ideal. You just have to keep showing up. The writer who sits at the desk every day will eventually write the book. The entrepreneur who keeps making the calls will eventually get the clients. The athlete who shows up on the field every day will eventually get stronger. Consistency is showing up when it's inconvenient, when you're tired, and when there's no apparent progress. Each time you show up provides proof that you can be counted on. 9. Steer clear of the all-or-nothing trap. Too many individuals fall into the trap of assuming consistency is perfection. Skip a trip to the gym, and you've lost the streak in your head. So you quit. Have one non-diet meal and you've ruined the diet. This mindset unravels discipline. True consistency is not never missing, but repeatedly returning. Miss one day naturally, miss 10 as a habit. Discipline is not flawless execution, but habitual recommitment. 10. Identity through consistency. Every time you repeat something, you vote for what kind of person you're going to be. Go to the gym, and you vote for being in shape. Save money and you vote for being responsible. Study every day and you vote for being a lifelong learner. Identity does not get made in one move. It's chiseled through consistent constancy. The more you stay constant, the more actions shape your conception of yourself, and eventually discipline becomes identity. 11. Being consistent across seasons of life. Life will not always treat you with favorable circumstances. There'll be seasons of abundance and seasons of scarcity. Discipline is what keeps you grounded through all of them. In seasons of abundance, consistency prevents you from getting complacent. In times of trouble, consistency prevents breakdown. In times of upheaval, consistency brings stability. No matter the tempest, the disciplined person keeps moving forward. 12. The irresistible power of consistency. Momentum is the reward of discipline. At first, consistency feels like a chore, akin to moving a boulder up a mountain. But time down the road, the chore shifts, the work lightens, the results accelerate. Soon, discipline creates an irrepressible momentum that moves you further than inspiration ever could. Consistency turns effort into mastery. It turns mediocre individuals into top performers. And once momentum has started, success becomes a question of when, not if. Chapter 7. Discipline in Relationships and Leadership. Lasting impact. Discipline is not solely individual success, habits and objectives. Its influence extends to how we deal with people, lead teams and create communities. A disciplined person is never by themselves. He/she brings order, clarity and credibility with them wherever they go. As you learn to apply discipline in relationships and leadership, you are not only successful, you are a leader who others emulate. Why discipline is essential to relationships. Relationships thrive not on grand acts, but on everyday tending. Just as success is about waking up every morning and facing your dreams, successful relationships are about waking up every morning and facing the people you love. Discipline in communication is being deeply present in listening, patiently responding and choosing words wisely, even in difficult times. Discipline in presence is about quieting distractions and giving someone your full attention. Discipline in commitment means keeping promises, even when it's inconvenient. The small, consistent actions, checking in, showing gratitude, apologizing when wrong, are what build lasting bonds. Emotional discipline. The foundation of connection. Strong relationships are built on emotional stability. Without emotional discipline, anger, jealousy, or pride can destroy trust. With discipline, emotions become tools for connection instead of weapons of harm. When there is conflict, discipline allows you to pause, inhale, and respond, not act on impulse. When differences emerge, discipline allows you to stay open instead of shut down. When disappointments emerge, discipline allows forgiveness instead of resentment. Emotional discipline is not suppressing feelings, but mastering them. The one who masters their emotions leads not just themselves, but inspires peace and confidence in others too. Discipline in leadership. The example before the command. True leaders are not those who order others to be disciplined and don't practice it themselves. True leaders are those who practice it first. A disciplined leader does not need to yell orders. Actions louder than words. Consistency in values builds trust. Consistency in effort motivates followers. Consistency in vision provides direction. When others observe that you live by the standard you hold them to, they will obey willingly. Leadership is not given by position, only by self-discipline, the discipline of listening and understanding. Great leaders and strong partners both practice the discipline of listening. Listening is an exercise in restraint. Listening is an exercise in patience. Listening is an exercise in not needing to dominate a conversation. A disciplined listener seeks to understand, not to win. They don't only hear words, they hear emotions. They judge not too hastily to seek truth. This kind of disciplined listening transforms work environments, families and friendship. It builds trust, loyalty and respect, the very foundations of influence. 5. Establishing boundaries through discipline. Boundaryless relationships create resentment. Boundaryless leaders invite chaos. Discipline is what allows you to set boundaries and keep them in place that fetch your energy and integrity. In relationships, discipline allows you to say no when necessary, guilt-free. In leadership, discipline allows you to be impartial, neither playing favorites nor emotional games. In friendship, discipline keeps balance, so giving and receiving are healthy. Boundaries aren't walls that exclude others, they're fences that protect what matters most. Discipline makes the fences unambiguous, consistent and respected. Discipline in conflict, turning struggles into strength. Conflict is inevitable, but the difference between weak relations and failing leaders and thriving leaders is the resolution of conflict. Discipline brings conflict from the destructive fire into a refining flame. Stay calm when others get angry. Stay respectful when others are rude. Stay focused when others are distracted by pride. Discipline does not avoid difficult conversations. It has them with courage and composure. The disciplined leader or partner says, "We can disagree, but we won't destroy each other in the process." 7. Building trust through consistency. Trust is built over years and can be destroyed in seconds, and it is always founded on consistency. Show up where you said you would be. Do what you said you would do. Stay true to your values even when no one is watching. Consistency makes your words credible in leadership. Consistency makes your love trustworthy in relationships. Consistency makes your presence reliable in friendships. Without discipline, trust is lost. With discipline, trust is indomitable. 8. The discipline of accountability makes power non-corrupt. Accountability makes power non-corrupt. Accountability makes love non-disappointing. Discipline guarantees that accountability is never absent. In leadership, accountability involves transparency in decision-making and accepting blame for mistakes. In relationships, accountability means admitting when you've screwed up and trying your best to improve. In personal growth, accountability is allowing other folks to hold you accountable for what you've committed. When you're living in accountability, other folks feel comfortable trusting you, because you don't shrink from the truth. Leading through service and sacrifice. The most disciplined leaders understand that leadership isn't control, it's service. They serve others more than they serve their own convenience. They show discipline by spending time when they're not busy. They show discipline by providing direction when it deprives them of energy. They show discipline by sacrificing short-term convenience for long-term growth of the group. There needs to be discipline in service because selfishness is easy, but the disciplined leader gets it. The more they lift others up, the stronger they get themselves. 10. The ripple effect of disciplined leadership. Discipline ripples. When one individual works in discipline, others will follow. One disciplined parent will set a new standard in a household, and that household can continue to bring up generations with the same standards. One disciplined boss will transform a whole corporate culture. One disciplined leader can ignite revolution far more than they have conceived. The disciplined individual is a role model, and a role model is a movement. 11. The reward of disciplined relationships and leadership. When discipline shapes how you love, how you lead, and how you make a difference, the reward is profound. Relationships are strong, not hollow. Teams become united, not broken. Communities are strengthened, not weakened. And lastly, discipline is the glue that holds people together. Without it, chaos reigns. With it, harmony flourishes. Chapter 8. Mastery of Discipline and Personal Growth. Discipline is not a place you get to. It is a path you take daily. Behind the past relationships, behind the past leadership, lies a deep space where discipline is the motivator of personal growth and guardian of focus. In this chapter, we see how using discipline with learning and focus turns people into lifetime success makers, artists and masters at their craft. 1. Why discipline is the foundation of development. Person development does not occur by accident. It does not occur by wishing, hoping, and waiting for the opportune time. It occurs because of disciplined actions performed regularly, even when the fire of enthusiasm dies down. Motivation starts the wheel. Discipline keeps it rolling. Dreams provide direction. Discipline constructs the path. Desire creates ambition. Discipline turns it into reality. Growth is a long-term game, and discipline ensures that you keep investing money into it on a daily basis until the returns build up into greatness. The discipline of lifelong learning. Knowledge is power, but only for individuals disciplined enough to seek it day in and day out. A learning person never thinks they know enough. They apply learning as oxygen, essential, daily, and continuous. Day-to-day habits of study, reading, studying, seminars, or even devoting 20 minutes a day to learning something new. Silent learning. Instead of filling every idle moment with noise, self-controlled learners reserve times of quiet for reflection. Absorption. Humility to learn. Discipline avoids pride getting in the way of new learning. Student mindset is a daily decision that depends on daily humility. The world keeps evolving. People who are not able to discipline themselves to keep learning always get left behind. People who embrace lifelong learning powered by discipline remain up to date, adaptable and relevant. 3. The power of concentrated effort. Discipline sharpens focus like a razor. In a distracted world, the ability to focus on one thing is a superpower. Single tasking beats multitasking. A disciplined mind chooses one goal and focuses all its energy. Mastery is achieved through deep work. Instead of just scratching the surface, discipline compels you to dig deep into issues until mastery. Saying no to distraction. Discipline is all about keeping your concentration immune from the constant pull of notifications, rumors and time-wasting activities. Once you have mastered disciplining your concentration, you no longer waste energy on broken action. All efforts are consistent. Every step builds and results compound. 4. Discipline in self-reflection. Progress with no reflection is blind. Discipline is about causing you to stop, look back, and evaluate whether you are on the correct journey according to your goal. Regular reflection. Noting what was done, where you fell short, and doing better. Weekly review meetings. Stepping back to measure progress, adjust strategies and refocus effort. Lifetime reflection. Asking, am I becoming the person I want to be? Without discipline to reflect, one can do much but remain unfulfilled. With disciplined reflection, change is deliberate, meaningful and purposeful. 5. The role of patience in disciplined growth. Change takes time. Discipline instills patience to wait without losing heart and still planting seeds before the harvest arrives. Physical growth requires discipline through exercise and diet. Long-term effects, but they last. Skill acquisition requires thousands of hours of practice, and discipline is what keeps pushing you after you get bored. Character development requires infinite small decisions made with integrity. Patience is not passivity. It is active discipline in motion, letting go of the need for quick wins. The greatest test to development is having an expectation of instant return. Discipline teaches you to wait, to trade the convenience now for the power later. The disciplined investor gives up lavish lifestyles for enduring wealth. The disciplined student gives up wild times for ultimate success. The disciplined artist gives up idleness for the mastery of art. Rapid wins yield fleeting pleasure, but disciplined development yields lasting change. Discipline and perseverance in setbacks. Every growth path is dotted with failures, disappointments and setbacks. Discipline is what makes setbacks stepping stones. Without discipline, failure is permanent. With discipline, failure is feedback. Resilience does not develop in times of ease. It is forged in the fires of adversity, when discipline keeps you standing even after the storm has passed. 8. Discipline as the path to mastery. Mastery is the result of unyielding repetition. No one achieves greatness by accident. It is the product of disciplined effort. Musicians practice scales daily. Athletes work on fundamentals for decades. Writers sharpen their skills a page at a time. Leaders practice decision-making until it becomes second nature. Discipline turns mediocre effort into outstanding expertise. It turns potential into performance, and performance into greatness. 9. The discipline of purpose. Progress without purpose feels empty. That is why discipline must be supported by something higher than mere success or wealth. Purpose gives meaning to the sacrifices discipline makes. Purpose gives the reason why you must stay committed. Purpose sustains discipline when motivation is gone. Purpose gets your improvement working not just for you, but for the world around you. And when purpose and discipline unite, nothing can stop your growth. 10. Building a legacy through disciplined growth. The disciplined individual doesn't just grow for herself. She grows so that she can leave a legacy. The books you read, the skills you learn, the attention you hone, all of these become tools for generations to come. Discipline ensures that your progress does not go up in smoke when your life is gone. It lives on through the people you've touched, the products you've created, and the values you've exemplified. Closing flow of chapter. Self-control and focus is the magnet of mastery. It drives you forward when others quit. It makes learning a lifetime process. It guards your focus from distraction. It makes failure fuel, capability, expertise, and growth legacy. People who live with disciplined improvement never stagnate. They fall, but they never cease to improve. They fail, but they get up sharper, tougher, and wise. Because in the end, discipline is not so much about accomplishing. It is about transformation. Chapter 9. Discipline of wealth and prosperity. Wealth and prosperity do not magically increase because we wish it so. Freedom from financial worry, security, and prosperity all follow the same rule as health, mastery, and success. They are built on discipline. Without discipline, even a high income can become debt. With discipline, even meager resources can turn into wealth that endures for centuries. This chapter explores how self-disciplined money habits, cultivated over time and applied repeatedly, create enduring prosperity, and one that is wealthier. 1. Wealth is a discipline before it is a number. Wealth begins in the mind before appearing in the bank statement. A person who is not disciplined may acquire fortune, but squander it quickly. But someone who practices money discipline, even with pennies, can keep building reliably. Frugality to live below your means. Not every increase in earnings must translate to an increase in spending. Frugality to deny instant gratification. Putting long-term investments above short-term hedonism. Frugality to spend wisely. Tracking spending, cutting waste, and planning. Wealth is not given to anyone. It is an art developed through disciplined everyday decisions over years. The everyday habits of financial discipline. Money is emotional, but there's order when discipline is brought to it. The small decisions made every day determine whether money goes into building or seeps away in regret. Budgeting with habit. Knowing exactly where your money is going every month. Discipline causes you not just to plan once, you stick to it. Saving consistently. A disciplined saver doesn't wait until the last week of the month. They pay themselves first. Avoiding debt snares. Discipline prepares you against the lure of the convenient swipe of a card for fleeting desires. When such tendencies are cast in concrete with discipline, money works for you rather than controlling you. 3. Discipline in generating multiple sources of income. Relying on one check or one project is risky. Discipline teaches patience and perseverance required to generate multiple sources of income. Active income streams. Disciplined working in a job, freelancing or entrepreneurship. Passive income streams. Disciplined investments in property, stocks, or intellectual property. Creative income streams. Disciplined producing content, art, or ideas that continue to provide income. It takes discipline to build multiple streams, because the returns are delayed. The impatient look for quick gains, but the disciplined investor waits for compound growth. The role of discipline in investing. The smartest investors aren't the brightest. They're the most disciplined. Disciplined to do their research before they make a move. Not joining the herd, but reading with care. Discipline to stay patient. Wealth builds slowly, and discipline prevents panic selling or irresponsible buying. Discipline to reinvest instead of spending the proceeds immediately. Disciplined investors let their money work. Markets have ups and downs, but disciplined habits build wealth regardless of what cycles. Discipline versus lifestyle. Inflation. One of the largest threats to riches is lifestyle inflation. Spending more just because you earn more. Self-discipline keeps you out of this trap. Without self-discipline, raises evaporate on new extravagances. Promotions equal bigger checks, and success never seems around the corner. With self-discipline, increased earnings fuel investments, security and freedom. The self-disciplined individual learns to enjoy rewards without being controlled by them. 6. Discipline in financial planning. Financial discipline is not random. It is structured and intentional. Short-term discipline. Controlling expenditure today. Medium-term discipline. Saving for things like education, holidays or a home. Long-term discipline. Retirement. Passing on wealth to children, and legacy. A disciplined planner plans in advance for opportunities and disasters, and has money ever as a friend, never a tyrant. Discipline in generosity and contribution. True prosperity is not measured by what you keep, but by what you give. Discipline extends to giving. Giving willingly, consistently, and with purpose. Discipline to give without wastefulness. Giving to causes that are in line with your values. Discipline to balance generosity with prudence. Giving without neglect of your own needs. Discipline to make a difference. Spreading money not just for pleasure, but for reach and change. Discipline timed giving doubles blessings. Blessings for both giver and receiver. How discipline protects you from financial fear. Most live in constant fear of money. Discipline is the answer. Discipline creates security, emergency funds, wise investments, and consistent savings. Dampen fear. Discipline creates freedom. You no longer live paycheck to paycheck. You live on purpose. Discipline creates confidence. You have total awareness of where your money is spent and how it compounds. Where fear commands the undisciplined, freedom belongs to those who achieve mastery over money patterns. Wealth beyond money. A disciplined approach. Prosperity is not just financial. It is whole. True prosperity includes good health, time, relationships, and inner peace. Without discipline, money may accumulate while life deteriorates. But with discipline, prosperity becomes balanced and whole. Time, wealth. With discipline, you can prioritize what matters most. Relationship, wealth. Discipline makes sure you pay attention, not just stuff. Health, wealth. Discipline makes sure you care for the body that creates and enjoys the wealth. Money is just part of prosperity. Discipline makes sure it doesn't control the rest. 10. The legacy of financial discipline. The greatest wealth is not what you squander. It is what is left behind. Discipline ensures that wealth becomes a legacy. Legacy of wisdom. Raising children and others to be responsible money managers. Legacy of wealth. Bequeathing investments, not debts. Legacy of values. Demonstrating that money is built on values, not fortune. Discipline with money lasts longer than the individual. It serves as a guiding light for generation. Stream of chapter. Discipline with money is not constraint. It is intention. It focuses effort, intention and choice into wealth that grows, protects and lasts. Without discipline, money disappears. With discipline, it grows, becomes stronger and transforms. Wealth isn't built in a lucky moment. It's built in 1,000 deliberate moments, each and every day. Chapter 10. Discipline as the path to true freedom. Discipline is generally confused with restraint. People view it as shackles, limits or laws that confine them. But in truth, discipline is actually the opposite of restraint. It is the portal to liberty. By disciplining your time, your habits, your money, your feelings, and your focus, you are not caged, you are free. This final chapter shows you how discipline prepares you for the highest levels of freedom, fulfillment, and unstoppable living. Freedom through structure. Chaos feels like freedom at first. Sleeping whenever you want, eating whatever you want, spending with no restraint. But eventually chaos enslaves us. It produces debt, illness, lost potential and regret. Discipline, though, may feel restrictive at first, but in the end it creates freedom. Getting up early creates space for health, planning and peace, before the world demands your energy. Managing money frees you from financial shackles. Creating habits saves mental energy and eradicates stress. Structure is not prison. It is protection. The disciplined life is not less. It is concentrated energy on what matters most. 2. Discipline as the master of time. Time is the greatest currency of life. Everybody has 24 hours, but destiny is determined by what they do with them. Discipline turns time into a tool, not a trap. Discipline in planning guarantees priorities over accomplishments and not lost through multitasking. Discipline in boundaries prevents time thieves, unessential commitments, endless scrolling, or wasted energy. Discipline in presence allows you to give full attention to the moment and not split focus. The undisciplined man belongs to time. The disciplined man owns him. Discipline in emotional mastery. Financial freedom is not the final freedom, and physical freedom is not the end either. It is emotional freedom. A disciplined person does not react emotionally to every provocation. They pause, breathe and choose. Self-discipline over anger preserves relationships. Self-discipline over fear provides fearless choice. Self-discipline over doubt drives persistence in trouble. Emotional discipline builds inner peace, clarity and strength. You are free from the chaos of out-of-control reactions with it. Discipline in vision and purpose. Freedom is not aimlessness. It is moving in the direction of a chosen destination. Discipline directs your eyes toward your vision and keeps your feet on course toward your purpose. Without discipline, vision becomes wishful thinking. With discipline, vision turns into a blueprint, and purpose turns into a drive that gets you through the challenges. The disciplined life is not spur-of-the-moment success. It is building a life that honors your values and calling. Discipline in relationships. Freedom in relationships does not mean doing what you want. It means building relationships founded on trust, respect and love. And that requires discipline. Discipline in communication. Listening fully before you speak. Discipline in reliability. Showing up for loved ones, not when it's convenient. Discipline in forgiveness. Choosing peace over pride. Relationships are built strong not by accident, but by disciplined care and commitment. Discipline in health and energy. Without health, all other freedoms are meaningless. Discipline keeps the body and mind strong enough to bear your goals. Discipline in rest. Honoring sleep as holy. Discipline in nutrition. Choosing fuel over trash. Exercise discipline. Getting your body moving daily, even when your mind doesn't want to. Every healthy act of discipline today is a down payment on your future freedom. 7. Discipline in wealth and legacy. Wealth freedom is based on disciplined management of money, as previously mentioned, but wealth is not just for you. It resonates into legacy. Discipline in saving and investing builds wealth. Discipline in staying from wasting it preserves it. Discipline in teaching others to follow suit will keep wisdom in motion. The disciplined person doesn't merely live independently. They liberate others with the example and tools that remain behind. 8. Discipline as a shield to prevent you from being mediocre. The planet is chock full of diversions meant to make you ordinary. Entertainment, comparison, and instant gratification always pull you away from greatness. Discipline is the shield that protects your focus, your expectations, and your future. It refuses when others yield to comfort. It says not yet when impatiently wants immediate result. It says go on when setbacks challenge your will. With discipline, mediocrity loses hold. 9. Discipline and the power of compounding. Compounding is one of the most profound realities of discipline. Doing a little thing often leads to incredible outcomes. A page a day turns into a library. A daily workout turns into a fit body. $1 saved per day equals financial freedom. Discipline ensures your efforts don't wilt after a spark of inspiration. They accumulate, broaden, and grow. 10. Discipline as the door to self-mastery. Supreme freedom is self-mastery. When you've mastered habits, emotions, attention, and actions, nothing outside of you can truly enslave you. The undisciplined are controlled by appetite, distraction, and fear. The disciplined are guided by vision, values, and purpose. Self-mastery isn't perfection. It's progress. Every self-disciplined decision fortifies your character as a person who can be trusted with more responsibility and more freedom. The unstoppable life built on discipline. Picture yourself spending your time with purpose, money accumulating with prudence, health augmenting your goals, and relationships flourishing with trust. Picture living not in disarray but in light. This is what discipline brings. It isn't glamorous in the daily grind. It may not look that way when you get up early, save, read, train, or say no to distractions. But one day the disciplined life becomes unstoppable. Unstoppable in progress. Unstoppable in resilience. Unstoppable in fulfillment. Discipline does not restrict, it liberates. It empowers you to design your life rather than allowing life to design you. Flow of chapter. Discipline is not punishment. It is hard work in disguise of liberty. It is the quiet strength that converts potential into actuality. It is the unseen force that creates legacies, creates wealth, maintains health, and shapes character. The ones who despise discipline are slaves to impulse, distraction. The ones who exercise discipline live free. Free to construct, free to create, free to love, free to lead, free to become unstoppable. Because in the end, success is not luck. Freedom is not accident. Fulfillment is not luck. They are all built on the same foundation. Unbreakable discipline.